Okay, let's dive right in. So imagine this. You're staring at a trading chart, right?
Mm-hmm.
You see an indicator, maybe some lines crossing, colors changing, and you think, hey, that looks like it should be a profitable strategy.
Yeah, that visual aha moment.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But then turning that visual hunch, that pattern, into something you can actually test,
Mm.
something that spits out, exact buy-sell signals, tells you the profit, the loss over time,
That usually means coding, like serious Pine script coding on TradingView.
which is a hurdle for a lot of people. So what if you could just skip that? Use AI to do the heavy lifting.
Well, that's pretty much what we're digging into today. There's a specific method using a particular AI tool that seems to actually work.
Go on.
It takes the logic you see in an indicator on, say, TradingView, and gets the AI to translate it into a proper strategy, one you can backtest immediately.
So moving from just looking good visually to actual quantifiable rules.
Precisely. And we're basing this on a really detailed demonstration video that walked through the whole thing step by step with real examples.
Okay, so our mission here is to unpack that method for you. What are the steps? What tools do you really need? And crucially, how do you fix things when they inevitably go a bit wrong?
Right, because it's not always perfect first time. The
Mhm.
goal is giving you the confidence and the know-how to try this yourself.
And that feeling of independence, right? Not being stuck relying on someone else to code up your ideas.
Exactly. If you see a potential rule in an indicator, you can test it. Get those real numbers, profit, drawdown, all that good stuff.
Okay, let's back up slightly. The fundamental why. Why bother converting an indicator to a strategy anyway? They look helpful just sitting there.
They do, and they're great for getting a feel for the market, showing trends or momentum.
Right.
But an indicator just plots data. It doesn't, give you a concrete rule.
Okay.
It doesn't say buy precisely now because X happened, sell precisely now because Y happened. A strategy does that. It turns the visual into hard rules.
And those rules are what you backtest.
Exactly. You run those rules over past data and see how they actually would have performed. Did they make money? How bumpy was the ride? That's the critical difference.
Gotcha. So, indicator shows potential, strategy shows tested performance based on specific rules. Now, the source material really stressed the importance of the specific AI tool.
Yes, this is key. The demo specifically used the ChatGPT 001 preview version. Apparently, that version is built to sort of think a bit more before it answers,
Interesting.
which seems to make it better, or at least more reliable, for this kind of complex code conversion task. Using other versions might not give you the same results.
Okay, so ChatGPT 01 preview is the weapon of choice here. But let's walk through the process then. How do you actually do it? Starting with an indicator on TradingView.
Right. So first, you find an indicator on TradingView that you think has some interesting logic worth testing. Got it on your chart. Good.
Yep.
Next, you need its source code. Most public indicators on TradingView let you see the Pine script behind them. You just open it up in the Pine editor.
PineScript being TradingView's own language.
Correct. So you view that code and you copy all of it, the whole thing.
Okay, code copied. Then what? Straight to the AI.
Pretty much. But you don't just dump the code in. The demo showed using a structured prompt works best. It has like 3 main parts.
3 parts to the prompt. Okay, break that down.
First, you tell the AI what its job is. You are a professional PineScript v5 developer. Set the context.
Got it. Role definition.
Second, you give it specific instructions or defaults for the strategy. This is where you'd say things like, make sure it fills gaps. That's a setting that helps make the backtest curve smoother, more realistic, by handling missing data like weekends.
Right, avoids those weird jumps in the equity curve.
Exactly. And the third part, that's simply where you paste the entire indicator source code you copied earlier.
So, role, instruction settings, then the code. That's the magic formula for the prompt.
Seems to be. And crucially, the demo recommended starting a completely new chat in ChatGPT 01 preview for each conversion. Don't just add it to an existing conversation.
Ah, a fresh start each time. Makes sense. Okay, so you feed it the prompt.
And the AI chews on it and spits out PineScript code for a strategy.
And you take that code back to TradingView.
Yep. Copy the AI's output, go back to TradingView's Pine editor, maybe open a new blank script, delete whatever's in there, and paste in the code the AI generated.
Then you hit save.
You hit save. TradingView tries to compile it. If there's a coding mistake, it'll usually flag it, tell you the line number.
Okay.
If it saves, okay, then you add that strategy to your chart, and boom, you see the backtest results. Profit, trades, drawdown, and really important, you look closely. Do the buy-sell arrows on the chart actually match the logic you wanted from the original indicator?
That visual check sounds crucial. Make sure it's doing what you thought you asked it to.
It's basically two moving average lines. Visually, the idea people often have is simple. Lines cross going up, maybe buy. Lines cross going down, maybe sell.
Straightforward enough. So they grab the code, use the structured prompt in a new chat with ChatGPT 01 preview. What happened first?
The AI gave them code pretty fast. They put it on the chart. It showed a profit 383%, which, isn't terrible in itself.
But
But the person doing the demo knew what a well-coded version of that exact logic should produce based on their own work. And that was more like 736% profit.
whoa, nearly double. That's a huge difference. How did they figure out what the AI got wrong?
That visual inspection, they looked closely at the chart signals. The AI's strategy wasn't buying or selling right at the crossover point. It was maybe a bit delayed or slightly off.
The timing wasn't quite right.
Exactly. And they also noticed the equity curve looked jagged, like steps. That told them the AI hadn't included that fill gap setting they ideally wanted.
So close, but missed the precise entry-exit logic and a technical setting. How did they fix it?
Yeah.
Iteration.
Yep. Back to the AI chat. They gave it really specific feedback, stuff like change the logic, buy exactly when the EMAs cross bullishly, sell exactly when they cross bearishly, and they also explicitly told it make sure you include the fill gaps command.
So really spelling it out. No ambiguity.
You have to. You can't just say make it better. You need to diagnose the problem from the output and tell the AI precisely what to change.
I did that work.
Perfectly. The AI generated revised code. They tested that. And the results, 736% profit. The trade count, everything matched their target version exactly. It showed that with clear, specific feedback, you can guide the AI to the right outcome.
That's a powerful demonstration of refining the output. What about the second example, Bollinger Bands?
Right. Bollinger Bands, super common indicator. The source mentioned it performed well in some other analysis they did.
Okay, what was the desired logic this time?
This was different. Based on watching the indicator, the logic they wanted to test was buy when the price itself closes above the upper band and sell when the price closes below the lower band.
So not bands crossing each other, but price breaking out of the bands
Yeah.
and specifying the close price.
Exactly. It shows you need your own clear idea of the rule you want to test
Yeah.
based on how you interpret the indicator. Anyway, same process. Grab Bollinger Bands code, structured prompt, new ChatGPT 01 preview chat.
And the first result, did it get the price break logic?
Nope.
Huh?
The AI came up with a strategy. Sure, it overlaid the bands correctly, so the basic conversion worked. But the logic it invented involved things like date ranges and other weird crossovers, nothing to do with price hitting the upper or lower band.
And the back test.
It was losing money, so clearly not the right logic.
Okay, obvious problem there. How did they iterate?
Back to the AI again. Very clear instructions. Change the buy condition. Buy when the close price is above the upper band. Change the sell condition. Sell when the close price is below the lower band.
Super specific again, focusing on close price.
Yeah, that's usually better practice. Avoids getting faked out by price just poking through intra-bar. The demo also joked about saying thanks to the AI at this point. Maybe it helps, maybe not.
Haha, politeness costs nothing. So, after giving those explicit price and band instructions, what happened?
The revised code worked beautifully, generated something like 1,187% profit, and the other metrics lined up perfectly with the target version they were aiming for.
Wow, huge turnaround from losing money.
Absolutely. It really drives home the point. The AI is the engine for conversion, but you are the driver supplying the directions, the specific buy-sell logic. Your plan is paramount.
Okay, 2 examples down. Refining logic seems key. What about the third one, Supertrend? Did that introduce any new challenges?
It sure did. Supertrend brought coding errors into the mix, which is definitely something you'll run into.
Okay.
Hmm.
What was the intended logic for Supertrend?
Visually, it's super simple. The indicator paints green when it's suggesting an uptrend, red for a downtrend. So the logic was, buy when it's green, sell when it's red.
Couldn't be simpler. So, standard process, copy code, prompt AI.
Right, they did all that. But this time, when they pasted the AI's first attempt into the TradingView editor and hit save, bang, compile error.
An actual code error, not just bad logic. Did TradingView say where?
Yep, it pinpointed the error to a specific line number, line 26 in their case.
Okay, so how do you use the AI to fix that?
The trick shown was copy the exact error message from TradingView, copy the line number 2, Go back to the AI chat and say, essentially, hey, your code produced this error on line 26. Fix it.
And the AI can understand that.
Surprisingly often, yes. It can look at its previous code, see the error message and line number, and figure out the syntax mistake or whatever it was.
Okay, so they got the code error fixed. Did that mean the strategy worked then?
Nope, still not right. After fixing the technical glitch so the code would actually run, they put it on the chart. The backtest was bad, and the visual inspection showed it was trading completely backwards.
Backwards. How?
It was buying when the Supertrend was red and selling when it was green. The exact opposite of what they wanted.
Classic AI inversion. So another logic fix needed.
Exactly. Same process as before. Back to the AI, clear instructions. The logic is reversed. Buy when the trend is green. Sell when the trend is red.
So fix the code error first, then fix the logic error. Two separate iterations.
Correct. And after both those fixes, the final code worked. Strategy made money, visually traded the green-red rule correctly, and matched the performance metrics they expected. It was a great example of tackling both kinds of problems.
And didn't that example also have a tip for when the AI just gets confused?
Yeah, good point. Sometimes, the demo noted, you might be going back and forth with the AI in one chat, trying to fix something, and it just keeps making similar mistakes or doesn't quite grasp the correction. It kind of goes off the rails.
Gets stuck in a loop?
Pretty much. In that situation, they found the best thing to do is often just to cut your losses on that chat. Start a completely fresh, new chat session with the AI. Use your original structured prompt again, maybe including the correction you discovered right from the start this time.
Like hitting the reset button.
Exactly. Sometimes a fresh start is quicker than trying to debug a confused AI conversation.
That's a really practical tip.
Okay.
Let's try and summarize the big takeaways here. What are the absolute must-knows?
Okay, first off, this method, using that specific ChatGPT 01 preview, genuinely seems to work. It's a viable way to get from indicator code to a testable strategy without needing to be a PineScript expert yourself.
That's the headline. What else?
Second, you do need access to that specific AI version, the 01 preview, which usually means having a paid subscription just to set expectations.
Right. Tool access is key.
Third, and maybe the most important, you must bring your own plan. Your own clear, specific idea for the buy and sell rules based on how you interpret the indicator. The AI converts. It doesn't invent good strategies for you.
You provide the brain, it provides the translation.
Well put. And finally, expect to iterate. Don't assume the first output will be perfect. Be ready to look at the results, spot the problems, whether coding errors or logic flaws, and give the AI clear, specific feedback to fix them.
But if you do that iteration, you can realistically end up with a strategy that accurately reflects your idea and gives you solid backtest numbers.
Yeah, that's the promise. It really lowers the barrier to entry for this kind of quantitative testing of visual ideas.
So wrapping this up for you, the listener, what this deep dive shows is a practical pathway. You can find an indicator on TradingView, grab its code, and use this AI method with your own specific rules to turn it into a strategy you can actually test. It's about gaining independence and the power to rigorously evaluate your own trading concepts.
It's a significant shortcut, bypassing a lot of the traditional coding work for this specific task.
Definitely. And now that you know, you could potentially convert one indicator's logic. Well, it opens up questions, doesn't it?
Yeah.
What about combining logic from 2 or 3 indicators? Could you use this method to build more complex strategies?
That's the next level thinking.
And then, once you have a strategy that looks promising after backtesting, what about full automation? How might you take that AI-generated PineScript and potentially connect it to actually place trades automatically?
Yeah, that's the ultimate goal for many, taking the tested logic and putting it to work.
Some exciting possibilities to think about, building on this foundation.